What's going on, YouTubers? This is Matt the StarCraft, and I am back to get another game going for you, and I'm super excited to do this, so let's start it up. This is going to be a game between Goody, the purple Terran, and ROOTfayth, the red Protoss. Now, I am ashamed of myself because I know very little about ROOTfayth himself. I know he's a Grandmasters League Protoss player, but outside of that, I know more about his teammates than him, and I am ashamed. Root Kiwikaki, Root Destiny, Root Slush, all them I'm much more acquainted with, Root Cats. But with ROOTfayth, I do not know very much about. Goody, on the other hand, I know a decent amount about. He's an excellent Terran player, and he typically is more of a passive player. When he plays and kind of more of a defensive and then do a big push and try to win the game kind of guy. And on top of that, he usually goes very heavy mech builds. Loves his Thors, loves his Hellions early to harass. So perhaps we'll see some sort of mech build. I love it when he does that, and he's actually very good. He's from Germany, and so he's considered a foreigner in the StarCraft world. But he's really good. I enjoy watching him, and I love Terran. I wish I was better with them. But I am just a Zerg player at heart. But if I was to play another race, it would be Terran. Protoss is just not a race I would play, and I would love to play a heavy mech style like he does, though I'd probably be a bit more aggressive. But we'll see what happens. We are dropping a barracks, not walling off. Usually you don't have to wall off against Protoss. Nothing like as early run by or early aggression. That scouting's not, you're not going to worry too much about the early scouting. For ROOTfayth down here, we have a gateway. Dropping down. And one gas, so we'll see what kind of build we're looking forward to. We are going to be playing here hang on one second, my phone is ringing. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm back. We are going to play here on Typhon Peaks, so on another great map, especially for that macro-oriented player. What I love what Blizzard is doing is they're really favoring, especially on the ladder, though this is the Zotac Cup, not a ladder, but what they are really starting to favor is the bigger maps that are forcing less early game aggression, or if there's early game aggression, it's not usually an all-in. More favoring that macro-oriented player, that long-term game where you're focusing more on the mid-game and the late game as opposed to anything else. So I really love that aspect that they're really focusing on. It helps players who cheese to learn other things. So if you're a cheesy player who plays just one-on-ones here, and just kind of cheese on smaller maps, it forces those people, especially if they are such far spawning distances, to work on in their mid game and really have a long-term goal. We do have him grabbing his second gas, so what that usually means is you're not going to see some sort of 4-gate. 4-gates don't really require that, especially with this new patch. You don't really see 4-gates too often. We do have a second gateway dropping, so we'll maybe see some sort of a 2-gate aggression expand or something along those lines. He did grab this gas, and I like that because when you grab a gas against a Terran, and he is dropping 2 more bunkers here with a tech lab on this one, barracks here, sorry. But with grabbing a gas from Terran, what it really does is it stops them from... I like to do this a lot as Zerg because grabbing the gas is cheap for me, but it stops the Terran from going some sort of crazy tech, forces them to work to do heavy mineral builds in the early games, such as a heavy marine build, and really it actually, my favorite thing is it stops a lot of cloaked banshees. Yeah, you could go cloaked banshees even after they steal a gas, but the problem is that gas is going to be so awkward. You're not going to have enough gas to do a lot. You'll have enough to get cloaked, but not a lot of banshees, and the cloak's going to be a little late, so the cloaked banshee harass ain't going to do too much. So I really like this move. He's really forcing his opponent to do a early barracks build, which is probably what he wants. We have a couple of stalkers on the way as well. We have concussive shells going down, so we have a double tech lab as well. So maybe a lot of marauders we'll see drop down, and we have a reactor popping down for this one. So heavy infantry build. We'll probably see a lot of marines coming out of this one alone, which yep, we are, and marauders. So marine marauder build. Maybe we'll see a factory drop down, and we'll do marine marauder medevac MMM. One of my favorite things as Terran. Again, I wish I was better with them. And we are looking at 2-gate expand over here. So we will keep an eye on that. He's trying to get that early macro lead and early economy lead on our Terran friend Goody, so we'll see if that pays off for him. Multi-base Protoss or 2-base Protoss against a 1-base anything is terrifying. Protoss are so good when they're able to sit back and macro. A lot of people think of the that poor SCV was trying to get a scout and got killed, but a lot of people think of the Zerg race as the macro race, and they wouldn't be wrong in thinking that. We have a little bit of a fight down here for the Zelnaga Tavern. Looks like he is going to ward off and kill off the Stalker, so a few Stalkers down now. But what I was saying is, you know, a lot of people think of the Zerg as the macro race, and then they wouldn't be incorrect in thinking that they are the macro race. They absolutely are the macro race. But when Protoss are able to macro, they are terrifying. And it looks like we do have a huge push coming in, and those 2 Stalkers that he lost to the Zelnaga Watchtower are going to really affect us. Jumping on force field, seeing what he can do, but he's probably able to push this back with all these Marines and Marauders, and yes, he is. He's going to be forcing back. He is going to get that Stalker here, and he's going to be queuing up Marines to jump down here. He's going to probably force the cancel on this Nexus, killing off those things, dropping a bunker to make sure he is contained. There is the cancel at the last second, recovering those minerals and using them on Army. Another Stalker on the way up. Gateway just finishing up. So he's only going to have 2 Stalkers up here. He's going to make his way up here, drop a turret as well, just in case, for whatever reason, he thinks he needs a turret. Not so sure. Maybe thinks he has a Stargate in there. Just hit Stargate, powering that down, and that is going to force the win. Wow, really early aggression. There I am saying Goody is more of a passive player, and he really forced the win on that one by really early aggression. So great game by Goody. We have a few more games coming up between these two for the Zotai Cup. I want to say it was a best of 3. Could be a best of 5. I really didn't check. I just kind of downloaded the game, so I am not even sure how many I downloaded. So I will see you guys in the next cast, and this is Matt, signing on out.